I'm beating every N64 game, and I mean all of them. The twist is, I've only beaten half of them, so I got a lot more to go. Oops. Hello! Welcome to something a little bit different. Doing a recap of getting through half of the N64 library, kind of what we're doing here, what we've achieved so far, and what's still to come. So hope you enjoy. This is definitely something I don't usually do, so we'll see how this goes. Alright, so what you're seeing here, this is my VOD channel basically. It's called Thabeast Plays, and when I got the idea to do this challenge, it didn't start as this challenge at all. You see, this is where basically I played A Link to the Past first playthrough ever on stream, and I got asked all the time, like, hey, where's the VODs? Where can we watch that? And I was like, it's kind of just lost media. There's no VODs of it. So I made this channel to archive all of my first playthroughs so people could go back and see them. You can see here I was playing through Donkey Kong Country 2. In fact, I don't even have the Donkey Kong Country 1 playthrough here. I also played that, but DKC 2 and 3. And yeah, I also archived myself playing Dark Souls, played Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, and finally, when I got through Tropical Freeze, my chat was like, hey, do not play DK64. That game's so bad. Like, you're gonna hate it. And I was like, I played that growing up. It was pretty fun. No, don't do it. It's gonna suck. And I'm fueled by spite a lot. So I was like, I don't even care if it's bad. I'm gonna do it just to prove you all wrong. And yeah, I enjoyed it. And I enjoyed it so much that I was like, dang, I should play Diddy Kong Racing as well. Which, right here, Diddy Kong Racing. Basically, once I started getting deep into DK64, if you don't know, I'm 32 years old. I'm not some young zoomer who's never heard of any of this stuff. I did grow up with the N64, albeit I sucked at video games back then. I was like, dang, now I want to play other stuff like Space Station, Silicon Valley, or WCW vs. NWO Revenge. You know, all these games I had as a kid, Star Fox, Banjo, whatever. And it just warped into, like, let's just play all the games, you know? Do that thing that TMR did, the Mexican Runner with the NES. And this idea of just making them random, it's kind of neat. Yeah, we got ND Racing 2000 as our first actual random selection. Diddy Kong Racing and DK64 weren't random. Probably nearly none of you have ever touched this game in your life. It's not exactly common. Also, some of this is repeat info if you've watched other videos I've done or just hang out on my stream. But I did take notes on how to make this interesting this time, so that should be good, right? Anyway, yeah, if you somehow stumbled upon this video and have no idea what's going on, I'm doing a challenge to beat every N64 game there is, and we're halfway through the entire library at this point. So, yeah, we've beaten 197 games. That's just a lot of video games in general, but specifically the N64, it's kind of wild. And we got these videos, I'm proud of them, you know? There is an asterisk there, though. I've technically beaten 198 games, so that makes GoldenEye sort of the halfway point, but whatever. This game, GQ World Soccer 3, I didn't realize it was literally... If you don't know, the list I used came from Wikipedia. And if you go look at the Wikipedia list right now, it only has 388 games on it. There were certain reskins of games or regional differences they changed, and one was This game, GKO World Soccer 3, is literally International Superstar Soccer 64, except with Japanese teams instead of like the international teams. But I'm sticking with what I made my original list, just what was on Wikipedia at the time. Anyway, at least I caught this before this video came out, so yeah, there's a slight mishap. We have beaten 198 games in these videos. It's a little bit of data. If you don't know, there's this link to a spreadsheet that I have in the description of all these videos. It's keeping track, so you can see I beat Donkey Kong 64 on March. I had to think, what is the third month? March 30th, 2021. It's almost 4 years ago. Oh no, dude. And I do keep track of these completion times. I get a lot of comments about, hey, you should tell us how long it took. One thing, the timer's quite big and visible on screen. There's also a timer for just the entire challenge collectively, but also one for each individual game. Anyway, yeah, so getting through half this library, 1,476 hours, or literally 61 and a half days of my life. It's worth it. Yeah, and this used to not be here. I put what I did, so like Diddy Kong Racing, this challenge has evolved a lot over the years. Like I just kind of any percented it, but I would like to go back to that someday and 100% the game. It's very good. Of those 197 games, 38 were Japanese exclusive titles. I know some people really don't like those, but I like them a lot, even though crap ones, Mahjong or whatever. And there were 3 PAL exclusive titles, including HSV Adventure Racing. You may know Beetle Adventure Racing, but do you know the Australian exclusive HSV Adventure Racing? Kind of goofy. I also keep track of these difficulty and enjoyability ratings. And I decided, hey, how good have these games been on average? Well, one thing you need to know about my rating system, especially for enjoyability, it's not like a traditional rating like IGN would put out or something. Like, if IGN gave a game a 5 out of 10, you'd be like, wow, that game sucks. But for me, 5 out of 10 means it's decent. Like, it's alright. And, you know, it's not meant to be like an objective rating. It's my personal taste. Like, the F1 racing games, for instance. I hate those things. But some people really like them. And I'm not rating it as how good is this as an F1 game. It's just, how much did I like it? The average enjoyability of an N64 game, getting through half of them, is 4.43, which means, on average, these games are decent. A little bit worse than just an average fun game. There's been some real stinkers, I'll tell you that. Some not good ones. And the average difficulty. The difficulty, I try to think, I do a bit more objectively, I guess. I think, like, how hard would this be for somebody to pick up? Like, for example, I'm extremely skilled at platformers. That's by far my main genre. So a platformer I can do much easier than other people. Whereas, I don't know, a racing game or a fighting game, I struggle more than other people. So I just try to think more objectively with those. But the average difficulty has been 3.89, which is a light challenge. Like, it hasn't been free. There's certainly been some very hard games as well. And it also depends. It's kind of a dumb metric anyway, because it's like, well, in this game you played on easy, but in this game you played on hard, so, you know, it's whatever, it's just for fun. So, what were the easiest games we've played? Well, check out that hair. If you don't know, I dyed my hair for a charity incentive, and it actually was blonde, but I think the white balance filter made it look silver or whatever. It was really strange. Elmo's Letter Adventure and Elmo's Number Journey. I don't think that's a surprise. Like, you can't really lose in these. I guess if you hadn't been through preschool yet, this may be a difficult games, but it's they're not very hard. Like, you collect letters or collect numbers. They're basically the same game. And the other easiest game that I gave a 0 out of 10 difficulty was kind of due to a loophole. Pachinko 365 Nietzsche. So the way you beat this game is get through a year of pachinko. Basically, it means playing pachinko every day. They want you to be a gambling addict. And it turns out if you just spam through skip to next day, it rolls the credits once you pass December 31st. So yeah, this game, a little bit controversial maybe, but yeah, you just can't lose. And there is no way to lose, apparently. Like, I did nothing and it still rolled the credits. So usually if I give a game a 0 out of 10 difficulty, it means you literally couldn't lose. Like, there's no possible way. So what are the hardest games we've played? Well, there's been 5 games so far that I've given a 10 out of 10 difficulty to. Why do I give it a 10? Either it just pushed me kind of to my limits, or I just feel like the game is so unfair that there's no other way to put it. This is the hardest it can get. And there's definitely differing difficulty. Like, just, I don't know. Just these are the ones that really push me. First is Wipeout 64. Now, this is a hard game on its own, but it's only because we got all gold medals. There's a challenge that it must be broken. Like, they must have not realized, I don't know, a typo, something, but basically you have to win this race and also eliminate, like, most of the racers, and you only get this bad weapon that, like, spawns a gate, and when they pass through it, they die. And really the only realistic way to do this is this cheese strat, and even with this, it's so unlikely. You just stand at this boost pad and spam the gate power up, and then, like, it was honestly such a wild finish because I did not have enough time. And yeah, this game's really sick, by the way. Ignore how stupid this challenge is. This is a great game. Yeah, like, run out of time, but it doesn't, the run doesn't end until you actually, like, you know, stop. So I can't accelerate anymore, but I was going off my previous speed and drifted past the finish line. I was so happy. I think it took over 10 hours to do that. Like, it was wild. So difficult. The next hardest, that was a 10 out of 10, Pokemon Puzzle League. Again, it depends on the difficulty you do. Initially, I think I had this as a 9 out of 10 difficulty, but I decided to go back to it later and do the very hard mode to get, like, the true ending, beating Mewtwo. And it's so hard, and honestly, this would have taken way longer to do. You'll see here, like, a little glitch happened, kind of. I guess it's not a glitch, it's just a flaw in the AI. Flaw in the AI here. So this little 3 bar here, what Mewtwo should be doing is getting rid of this stuff, but it's so focused on getting rid of this, I don't know why. And because of that, this stuff just continues to go up. So it's kind of like you just insta-win. And I don't know, that took like 8 or 9 hours to get through, maybe even longer, I can't remember. But yeah, and there's even a super hard difficulty, which very hard, I think, is super hard with Mewtwo. I think on super hard, just every single fight is this level of AI, so it doesn't really do anything different. I might do it someday. I really like Pokemon Puzzle League. It's very fun. Yeah, extremely difficult game. The third was Mace the Dark Age. This one doesn't really have like a stopping point where it's like super hard. It's just a really hard video game. Like, honestly, because it's a fighting game, I'm already a little disadvantaged because I'm not great at them. However, I have gotten better at them over time. As if you watch the PlayStation Mystery Tournament video, I did pretty well in the fighting games I played. But yeah, the AI is just so good in this, it's really hard. Ragnar's hard to beat. It gets harder with every successive fight, and yeah. I challenge you to try Mace the Dark Age yourself, even if you're good at fighting games. You might find it's a pretty difficult one to beat. Now here's where it gets weird. The fourth one is Mahjong Master. Yes, because of this challenge, I had to learn to play Mahjong. I never would have thought... I never would have thought I'd do that, and you just can't beat these unless you really, really, really know how to play. And, honestly, Mahjong's really fun. Nintendo 64 Mahjong games are not, but it really seems like the AI cheats in this one. Like, I don't know, it was just so unfair. Like, one of them would purposely throw to make you get not first place or something. And yeah, I was getting very salty playing this. This was the second Mahjong game. I'm even better at it now since then. But I actually, to beat this game, the reason it got a 10 is because I had to like actually hire somebody to like teach me not just how to play, but actual advanced tips. And I sat down on a client called Mahjong Soul with a guy named Minimat, and he helped me get way better. And without his help, I don't know that I would have ever beaten it. Maybe somebody would have shown up to the stream that could help, but yeah. It was a struggle. I do like Mahjong, it's very fun. Just not Nintendo 64 Mahjong. And the last game that was 10 out of 10 difficulty, just stupid fishing game. Shigesato Itoi's Bass Fishing. This may have been able to be easier, but I couldn't get this last fish that I needed to be over 50 centimeters. Like, the game just refused to do it. And part of the reason this is so hard is because it's not in English. Like, it's just a flaw with the Japanese games that sometimes the difficulty in them is due to not being able to read. And so I started allowing myself to just use any guides I can find for these games, because the challenge is that, hey, you can't read, like, that's not, the game's not about reading. Anyway, this game, if we didn't find like a speed run to follow along to, I don't know how I would have beaten it. This is not really a game you just figure out. It's very difficult. Shigesato Itoi wanted it to be super, super realistic. There's like a goofy picture of him in the pause menu if you pause, and he has like literal books on fishing and the options to read, all the best practices. So yeah, this is a very challenging game. Alright, so that's all cool, difficulty and whatever, but what are the worst games we've played? Well, these are maybe a little harsh, but there's been a lot of games I gave a 0 out of 10 to. This one, Eiko no St. Andrews, a Japanese exclusive golf game. It's just the most basic, bare-bones golfing game. It's one of the earliest N64 titles, and there's just nothing good about it. It's also really, really, really hard. Yeah, it's terrible to play. It's not fun. Even if you like realism golf games like Tiger Woods or something, like this just, it's not it. And I even like golf. Golf's fun. The second, NASCAR 99. I don't like NASCAR at all, and this game's terrible. It's jank. It has like the stupid music loop of like the last 6 seconds of these same 3 songs, and it's just dumb, and it controls horribly. Like, at least the F1 games have some interesting things. These you just drive in a loop over and over and over and over and over again, and it's not fun at all. Thankfully you could lower the laps, I guess. If I had to do like 500 laps of this, I would lose my mind. Another terrible game, NBA in the Zone 99. Honestly, this whole series is bad. These are Konami games, and I don't know what they were doing, because you have International Superstar Soccer, which really good sports games, and also those GQ baseball games. They're pretty fun. And then there's these, and they're just not good. Like, everybody has the exact same running animation. It won't let you dunk. Like, look at him, he's just trotting down the court. It's bad. Like, play it yourself. It's not fun. And there's nothing good to say about this game. It looks like crap, too. In Fisherman Bass Hunter 64. Well, all you do is run around in this boat. You fish. It's supposed to be this hyper-realistic fishing game, like, for fishing enthusiasts, you know, not the people who just like the nature and calmness of fishing. No, you want to be a try-hard, research weather patterns and bass patterns of the shelters in the area and how they're behaving, whether they're hungry. It's so frustrating, and it's really challenging too, and it's just... and the optimal way to fish is just spin the joystick in a circle. Like, it's not good. Even if you like fishing, this is not the one to play. Premier Manager 64, I don't even know what to show you from the game here. It's just a pure simulation spreadsheet manager, basically. And this one, little controversial. People love these types of soccer sim games. There's some for all kinds of sports now, and no, I just don't like this. Maybe if you played it on PC, I don't know. I would never play a game like this. I forced myself through it. I even won the Premier League and they fired me, which I still don't understand. I literally won the championship. It's a dumb game. Oh yeah, that was, the game got really loud there is what happened. It was like a glitch with my capture card. Anyway, I hated this game. Possibly the worst one that I've played. This one's a little harsh, because people do have fond memories of this. But hey, you Pikachu sucks. Like, it's just a gimmick to force this microphone to work, and at the time, it was probably cool. Like, I did play this as a kid, and I remember not really even liking it back then, but playing it to beat it as an adult is just... oh my god, it's really, really, really bad. It's bad. It's so frustrating. Pikachu won't listen, and yeah. If you play it yourself, I don't know, maybe there's a way to do it on emulator that it works better, but on the original hardware, it's rough. It is not fun. And I think these are no surprise. Pachinko 365 Nietzsche, just a gambling game. You play Pachinko. This one was even a little sus. It had a strip mahjong machine, and it doesn't actually show any nudity, but I was very scared it was going to. Yeah, these games, they suck. The way you play is by not playing. You just sit there and watch. It's terrible. Also, Parlor Pro 64 Pachinko Jiki Simulation. This would at least let you walk around and like look at the machines. I mean, this thing is there. It's something, you know, like... But again, all you do is play Pachinko, and I actually was playing old school RuneScape instead of this game. Like, I would just sit there and watch while I was playing that while this game just played itself. This one I actually had to farm for like 15 hours. Not a good game. Honorable mention, because I did like some of the music in this one. PD Ultraman Battle Collection 64. This game's so bad, but it had charm to it. I couldn't give it a 0. Like, it did have... The battle music was pretty cool, but it's just so slow. Like, I don't understand. And in the battle, the way you... It's turn-based battling, except you can just button mash to get your turn faster. And if you don't button mash, you're going to get screwed over. I'm like getting carpal tunnel syndrome by playing this game. Ugh, it's not fun. And this is more of an interesting bad game than, you know, Pachinko or something. Like, this is one a lot of people have probably never heard of. So, the best games. There's only been 3 games I've given a 10 out of 10 to. I try to be conservative in these. I don't want to give a 10 out of 10 and be like, oh, that game's nowhere near as good as these. But games I definitely want to play again, for sure. But also just, I don't know. I like the music, the graphics, it plays smooth. I don't really get frustrated by it, so... Tetrasphere. This game actually has 3 main modes, and I've only done one of them, so I do want to go back someday and do the other 2. Like, this is just such a unique puzzle game to me, and it has a really good soundtrack. Like, I didn't get tired of the music at all. Yeah, it's basically you free this little orb from the center, and you place similar shaped pieces on top of each other. It's just a really creative game. I think this was initially going to be on the Atari Jaguar. Thankfully it wasn't. Highly recommend playing Tetrasphere, even if you don't like puzzle games, because I don't usually like them. I think this one is actually really good. Next was Sin and Punishment. I had never heard of this game, and it's really, really, really cool. You can play this on the Nintendo Switch Online, I believe, and it's in English. This is a Japanese exclusive game. It's made by Treasure, which if you're familiar with Treasure, you know that it's gotta be good. But it's also pretty challenging. It's kind of like a hybrid on-rails shooter, but you also melee. Like, it's very unique, and it just runs so smooth. This is on original hardware, and look how smooth it's running. I love this game. I have gone back and played it again since then, and probably will try to get the 1 credit clear someday. And finally, Paper Mario. I am very biased for RPGs. It's probably my favorite genre to play. I really like story-driven games, but this game's a classic. There's so much content, and this was a more recent video, so a lot of you probably saw this one, but yeah, Paper Mario, 10 out of 10. Maybe we'll get some more 10 out of 10s coming up. Our 2 longest games, definitely standouts above the rest. StarCraft 64 took over 73 hours. Honestly, a lot of that was probably due to just the game running slow, and I had the speed maxed out. Very fun game, but yeah, if you're wanting to beat StarCraft, it's going to take a minute, but it is good. I do want to play it on the PC someday to see how it compares, because I hear the N64 is not a good platform to play this on. And we all saw that one coming, but what pretty much none of us saw coming was this one, Super Robot Wars 64. I'd never heard of this game, and it's such a popular series. I had no clue, probably because most of them are exclusive to Japan. It's just like a mashup of mech battlers, animes. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like 20 different TV shows all crammed into one. And you'd think it's a fan fiction, but it's actually like official. So I don't know. It's wow, but it's turn-based strategy game. It's pretty fun. It'd be a lot better if it was in English and I could read it even more though. But yeah. Will we have any games longer than these 2? I don't know. Maybe you'll just have to wait and see. And then there's been a few I'd call hidden gems, but I think this one's the biggest one for me. Rocket Robot on Wheels, 3D platformer collectathon. It's by Sucker Punch Studios, is that what they're called? But it's their very first game. So they made Sly Cooper after this, and you may know the game Ghost of Tsushima. This game's really well done. The reason I didn't give it a 10 out of 10 is because it has this really frustrating noise when you move the camera. Like, the camera is actually one of the best on the N64 in my opinion, but you have to move it manually so much, and it makes this really loud noise every time you do it, and it's just so frustrating. So I couldn't give it a 10, but I really enjoyed this game. If you've never seen it, I highly recommend it, especially if you like collectathons. This is a really, really good one. And talk about soundtracks. You may be hearing in the background the super hidden gem soundtrack, Django Simulation Mahjong Do 64. It's a Mahjong game with really good music, and I uploaded the soundtrack to it here on YouTube to try to preserve it. Honestly, I didn't know the music needed to be that good, but it just is randomly. But you also got others like Wipeout has really good music, Extreme G, fantastic soundtrack, GoldenEye, Paper Mario. There's a lot of good video game music out there, and a lot of this stuff is very different genres, so, you know, good job, music people. I don't know how to make music. So maybe you're newer to this series and you haven't watched some of the older videos. If I had one I'd recommend, it'd probably be Harvest Moon. I really thought this video turned out well. It's pretty funny. Kind of where I feel like we really made our stride in figuring out how we wanted to present these videos. It's certainly still changing a lot over the years, especially because I try to cover more content in the games than I used to. But this one's pretty good. I thought it was really good. Story-driven game. And if you're looking for one to watch, this is my recommendation. Also, I recommend these Jikyo baseball games. There's 4 of them now. A lot of people, like, when they see the Japanese titles, they're not interested because I guess they don't recognize them or something, but these are really good. It's a baseball game, but it's more... You don't really play much baseball in it. It's more a life simulator. It's very frustrating to actually play these because I'm spending most of the time translating the text, trying to figure out what's going on, but in the shortened video form, it turns out really good. They're usually pretty funny. There's a lot of wild things that happen in the story, like your character's just like, I'm sad because I don't have a girlfriend, and then he skips practice, and then he gets in trouble, and you're like, what are you doing, dude? It's pretty good. There is still one more of these left, but unfortunately it doesn't have this mode in it, so it's just going to be a normal old baseball game. But yeah, there's 4 of these, but specifically 5 is the one where I feel you can get the best feel for how the game can go and be wild and just all of the stupid stuff that can happen. It's pretty good. And I can be humble. I do think I have some bad videos. The first here, F1 Pole Position 64. This was the first F1 game I played in this challenge, and at the time I thought, wow, nobody likes this stuff. It's stupid. Because I don't like it, so therefore nobody does. But it turns out there's a lot of F1 fans out there. And when I played this, I was just like, oh, we gotta get through this, turn down all the settings, make it as easy as possible, even just skip over races. And I got comments like people wanted to see the tracks, you know, they wish I didn't skip over things, and it kind of made me realize, like, well, when I'm playing these games live, you know, maybe I'm not super into it, but the video is there forever, like 3 years ago, and this is still here. So if somebody's wanting to feel nostalgic for this game they played, then I want the video to be good. And it's why I started actually trying to present everything, not every single thing, but, you know, at least the full experience of the game when I played these. This was kind of the catalyst where I was like, I should probably not try to just fly through games as fast as possible. Take time to really appreciate them. And then more recently, we had Vigilante 8 Second Defense. This video started out okay, but I really wanted to talk about the storyline in it, which I think is fine, but I really wish instead of showing these text cutscenes, handheld clips, I guess, of the gameplay. This is literally like, when does it start? Yeah, starts at like 24 minutes all the way to the end. It's just these screens, and it's kind of draining. I think if there was gameplay happening over talking about the story, because the story is decently interesting, it's pretty well written, but yeah. That one, not great, but you know what? We can't all be winners. Alright, so now for the future, we still have half the games left. What do we got? Well, I'm sure you all know there's still a lot of really cool stuff that we've not played. I mean, I've never seen this game, but from what people tell me, it's pretty good. The other James Bond game. 40 Winks, interestingly, the reason it's $3.94 and not $3.93 is this game was supposed to be released on the 64 and it never was. And then it was kind of like unofficially released. They like legally bought the source code and finished the game. So I just decided to include it. But probably pretty fun, we'll see. Random Japanese, A Bug's Life. Shogi, there are 3 Shogi games. We've not run into any of them, and it's like chess, but different. It's like a Japanese chess. So, not only am I going to learn to play Mahjong, I'm going to learn to play Shogi. Great. Aiden Chronicles, that's an RPG. Sports game. Armorines. Sarge's Heroes really let me down, so I don't know about this one. Asteroids. This is one of those clone games, I guess a racing game. We're going to have to play it twice. More Japanese. We got Banjo-Kazooie and Tooie. Neither been selected in the first half. That'll be very exciting. Fishing. Sure love fishing. Sequel to Battle Tanks. Battlezone, I don't know, Big Mountain Racing. I think this is a bad game, I hear. Biofreaks. Blast Corps, rare title. I'm sure that'll be cool. Blues Brothers, I think, is jank. There was a Japanese exclusive game called Bomberman 64, and it's more the traditional 2D Bomberman. So that'll be cool. We also got Bomberman The Second Attack. Just the sequel to Bomberman 64 that we know in the West. More sports. Buck Bumble. I don't know how it plays, but I know it's got a great intro music. Bust a Move, always fun. The enhanced version of Castlevania 64. Probably be decent. I like Castlevania 64. Sequel to Chameleon Twist, more sports. This is kart racing. We still haven't seen Conker's Bad Fur Day. Custom Robo was great. We still have Custom Robo V2. Whatever these are, more Japanese. Dobutsu no Mori, that is Animal Forest, Animal Crossing. That should be interesting. It is released on the 64, but only in Japan. Earthworm Jim? Okay. Extreme G2, that'll be fun. We've still got F-Zero X. More F1, sports, Fighter Destiny 2, fighting games. More sports, Fushigi no Dungeon. We got Gex. We haven't had Gex yet. Glover. Oh man, Glover. This is a Goemon board game. It's gonna suck. Oh, Goemon's Great Adventure, that'll be fun. Golden Nugget, I think this is a casino game. More golf, another pachinko game. We got a Hercules, Hexen, that'll be interesting. Racing, Hybrid Heaven. Of course, we got more Mahjong. There's 7 total. We've only had videos of 4 of them, I believe. Yeah, 4 of them. Iggy's Wrecking Balls, more sports, Jeopardy, oh boy, game shows. Jet Force Gemini, another rare title. GKyo GI Stable. Yeah, and like I said, this last GKyo baseball game, it unfortunately doesn't have the success mode, so it's going to be kind of boring. Just a standard baseball game. More soccer. Daikatana, I've heard things about this one. More sports. There's a lot of sports left. Killer Instinct. Whatever. Japanese game. Boxing. Another Japanese. More sports. Tetris. That might be decent. Of course, Mahjong. We got Mario Golf, Mario Kart, Mario no Photopea. That's like basically Mario Paint, but on the 64. It was only released in Japan. Got Mario Party 2 and 3. That's going to be really cool. Mario Tennis. Yeah. Yeah, more sports. Mickey Speedway. That's a rare title, believe it or not. Sports. Mischief Makers. Very good game by Treasure. Board game. Another shogi. We got Mortal Kombat. There's 3 of them. We've not played them, so... The N64 for Mortal Kombat. Wow. Miss Pac-Man Maze Madness. No idea. More sports. Another retro game comp. Oh boy, another NASCAR. I talked about how much I hated NASCAR, so let's talk about it some more. Sports. This is actually good sports. I love NBA Hang Time. Sports. Japanese game. 64 Ozumo. I believe these are sumo wrestling, so that will be very wild. Clay Fighter. I hear they're terrible. Cruisin' USA. That's the game I want currently. I really want to roll Cruisin' because it's a game I've not played nor seen since I was a kid. It may suck, but you know, I want to get that nostalgia. Give me the feeling. These are all Japanese soccer games. More sports. These WCW wrestling games are so bad. I hear after Revenge it got really rough. Of course, even more sports. Nightmare Creatures, I don't know what that is. Japanese game, the sequel to the fishing RPG. I sure love fishing. Got racing. Ogre Battle 64, that'll be cool. A RPG. I've never played an Ogre Battle game or Tactics Ogre or any of that, so that'll be cool. Japanese game, we've not got Perfect Dark. Essentially the sequel to GoldenEye. Pilot Wings, classic. I think this is racing. Another Mahjong. Yeah, so we have 3 Mahjong games left. Another Puyo Puyo game. I'm pretty bad at those. Oh, we got Quake 2 still. Of course, Quest 64. The Quest 64 official Blue Sky account's going to be popping off. Rakuga Kids. That's an interesting one because it was only released in Europe and Japan, not North America. Rampage, that'll be neat. Revolt, that's racing. We got these Ready to Rumble, boxing. Resident Evil 2, one of the most impressive ports of all time. Road Rash. This is Robopawn. I think it's kind of like a monster catcher, like a Pokemon type deal, but with robots. I'm not sure. Ridge Racer, Rugrats. We haven't played Rugrats. Still got San Francisco Rush 2. That'll, I know people talk about that one a lot. We got third shogi game. Oh, God. Rush 2049. Scooby-Doo game. SD Hiryu Japanese game. Shadowgate. I think this is like a text-based game or something. More wrestling. Sim City. Wow. Now we've still got South Park, a racing game, and Chef's Love Shack's a trivia game. We still got Space Invaders, Spider-Man, Star Fox, man. Dude, look at all these top tier games. It's gonna be so cool. Still one more Star Wars game. I haven't heard of that one until this. Whatever that is, Japanese, more sports. Smash Bros, dude, I'm telling you. Japanese game. Tetris 64, that uses a heart rate monitor. Yes, there is a heart rate monitor on the 64. Maybe I'll make a video showing off my weird N64 accessory someday. Both Zelda games, dude, they're coming. Zelda, it's gonna be wild. Can't forget Tigger's Honey Hunt. I mean, look at all this. We've got so much left. Tom and Jerry, Rainbow Six, really. Still got Tony Hawk 3. Actually, the Tony Hawk 3 and 4 remake was just announced. I'm extremely excited about that. I'm definitely going to be getting it. I'm a big, big Tony Hawk game fan. They're not so great on the 64, but that's okay. Still 2 Top Gear games, baseball, Turok 2, and 3 Turok games. Turok Rage Wars is like a multiplayer game, though. But yeah, Turok. People love Turok. More racing, golf. I think this is fighting. More sports. Another Wheel of Fortune game show. Win Back. I had that on the PS2. Japanese game, racing, Worms. I've never played any Worms games. WWF No Mercy. I know people love that wrestling game. Xena. Still got Yoshi's Story. The N64. There's still stuff coming. You know, there's... People say, oh, you've still never gotten any of the good games. We have, but there is still a lot left. So we'll see if that average enjoyability gets bumped up as we get further in. Editor's note, I forgot to mention that off of the list of the upcoming games is obviously Super Mario 64. That's being saved as the final game of the challenge. There's also Super Mario 64 Shindo Paktao Edition. If you played Super Mario All-Stars on the Mario 3D All-Stars on the Switch, you played that version of Mario 64. It basically patches BLJs and adds Rumble Pack support. As well as a few Japanese games. We're waiting for translations to come out for Yakochu 2. It's a visual novel. Derby Stallion 64, well, those have to wait and see. And Bangai O, another treasure game. Translation for that one's coming very soon. But yeah, if you're still here watching, you're awesome. Thank you for watching. I don't know, this is a weird video. I just felt like putting this out, kinda. It's easier for me to make, and you only get halfway through the challenge once, so why not? Maybe if I do something like this again, I'll get someone to like edit cool graphics and stuff, because I don't really know how to do that. That might make it more interesting. But yeah, I hope you enjoy a little recap. And here's to the next 197 minus 1 games. While we get through the rest of this challenge, thank you all for watching these videos. It's been amazing. It's a really cool journey. And that's all I got. See you next week for the next video. You guys didn't really think I'd leave without a marble race, did you? Come on. This was recorded Wednesday, 2 days before this video went live. Alright, we got 100 people in here. Good enough. If you didn't join, unfortunate. Let's go. We got all the marbles here, folks. Everybody's here watching, and they're hoping that they will be the one to win. But only one can be the winner. Let's see. Ishiori is currently in the lead. Buck in the lead now. Coming down the heart path. Oh my god, a road bump there. Zangief Games takes advantage of that, as does Kalos. Toe Typer coming, but a couple pegs in the back hits them both. Zangief Games coming over the bumps now, and pegs just keep popping up everywhere. You don't really know what's going to happen on this track. I kind of like it. Zangief Games going through the Tunnel of Love now, but Kalos comes out right in front. Fungi taking second place now. Kalos in the lead. Fungi, Late Gator, Momo, SMM, Zangief Games, Fungi, but Kalos currently out in front, coming over the second set of bumps. Will there be any additional pegs? Coming into the comb now, and gets completely held up. Kalos cannot get past that comb as Late Gator does, but Gregory Michael, full speed ahead, not phased whatsoever by the comb. Gregory Michael now coming down the right side. And it appears there's a middle path here. I wonder if anybody will opt for the middle path. We'll have to wait and see. And it's the Carbonator coming down the heart. The Carbonator with a commanding lead. Madonna right behind. No, the Carbonator just doesn't even come slightly close to hitting the funnel. What was that? The Carbonator, an embarrassing performance there late game, As Mega Man, Blackhawks, Madonna, Leader-Dragon. Will anybody go for a skip? It doesn't seem so. And it is Adam now in the lead. Blackhawks trying to come through. Opa, Mega Man, Onar, Hyperfuse, Atticus, Blackhawks on the right, Adam on the left. We'll see, will there be any pegs that pop up here at the end to try to shake things up? And somehow Adam has gotten drastically ahead. Atticus, Mega Man, Onar, Blackhawks, Physics now in contention. As Adam is coming down these 2 ramps, and there's a boost pad, but there are some pegs here at the end. Let's see how Adam handles this obstacle. Doesn't opt for the boost, and does get held up. Adam completely stopped. Onar trying to make a play, but just doesn't seal it at the last second. Adam hangs on to the lead. Onar right behind in second place. Adam nearly threw the victory away, but managed to hang in there and secure it. Well done.